Okay, what you're about to see, you're going to want to shake yourself, pinch yourself, and wonder if you're awake. I'm going to look at two aspects here, but this is crazy and absolutely fascinating at the same time. Some people are just looking at this from one perspective. We're going to take a look at two perspectives. The first is a lot of people are saying that, or they're questioning, has Joe Biden faked his dementia symptoms to, I don't know, retire early and give the entire electorate and the whole presidential thing over to Donald Trump? That's number one, because he's speaking with absolute clarity. There's no stumbling in his mind. He's reading his teleprompter perfectly. He's not stumbling over his words and slurring his words. We're going to look at the second thing as we make our way into this, but I want you to pay close attention with how sharp this guy seems, sharper than you've seen him in 4 years. Watch this.
Yeah. It's good to see you all, particularly good to see my granddaughter sitting in the front row here. Hi, Finn. How are you, honey? For over 200 years, America has carried on the greatest experiment in self-government in the history of the world. And that's not hyperbole. That's a fact. We're the people. The people vote and choose their own leaders, and they do it peacefully. And we're in a democracy. The will of the people always prevails.
Really? Really? Did the will of 66 million people who voted for Kamla Harris prevail? No. This idea of democracy and the will of the people and the consent of the governed is a stupid idea, because clearly half of the country did not get what they wanted. So you can't say America got what they wanted. But this is all a part of the dog and pony show. And I'm not saying I'm for Biden. I'm not for Trump. You guys know, all of my audience knows for the last 10 years that I'm not for the two-party uniparty system, because basically it's two wings of the same bird of prey that's constantly circling around, trying to figure out how we can effectively take more rights and more income from the American people.
Yesterday, I spoke with President-elect Trump to congratulate him on his victory. And I assured him that I'd direct my entire administration to work with his team to ensure a peaceful and orderly transition.
Peaceful transition of power by the guy who continually called Donald Trump an existential threat to democracy, one of the biggest existential threats to democracy. And now he's going to I congratulated the existential threat to American liberties, and I'm going to ensure that there's a peaceful transfer of power from me to him. Now, if you cared about America, do you want to turn the reins of the country over to somebody that you consider an existential threat? How is that patriotism? Well, I got to do it because the 250-year-old rule book says I have to. This is childish. It's nonsense. It's immature, and it's clown world.
That's what the American people deserve.
The American people deserve for me to hand the reins of power over to an existential threat to their freedoms, their liberties, their money.
Yesterday, I also spoke with Vice President Harris. She's been a partner and a public servant. She ran an inspiring campaign in everyone.
She hasn't been a public servant. She's been a corporate servant. He's been a corporately controlled servant. Trump is a corporately controlled servant. Who do they serve? They serve Big Pharma. They serve the major corporations. They serve ISRA, HE double hockey sticks. And they're funded by ISRA, HE double hockey sticks. Let me ask you, who owns Congress? You know the answer to that question. Who does Congress serve? Is it the American people, the American tax cattle, or the people that they shovel boatloads of the American tax cattle's income over to in foreign countries like ISRA, HE double hockey sticks?
Got to see something that I learned early on to respect so much, her character. She has a backbone like a ramrod. She has great character, true character.
Kamala Harris has great character, true character.
She gave her whole heart and effort, and she and her entire team should be proud of the campaign they ran. You know, the struggle for the soul of America, since our very founding, has always been an ongoing debate and still vital today. I know for some people, it's a time for victory, to state the obvious. For others, it's a time of loss.
So victory and loss, that's not the American people. All the American people got their way in this election. All the American people are satisfied with the turnout of this election. This is doublespeak. This is hypocrisy. There's inherent inconsistencies in the statist mentality.
Campaigns are contests of competing visions. The country chooses one or the other.
The country choose. Some of the people in the country choose one. Some of the people in the country choose another. These are all lies, and that's what politics is. It's the clever and deceptive art of using lies, emotionalism, fear-mongering, euphemisms to dupe the average people into accepting and even demanding the chains of their own enslavement. I want to be enslaved by Kamla Harris. I want to be enslaved by Donald Trump. The bottom line is you're being enslaved by the people who control Kamala Harris and Donald Trump and Joe Biden and Barack Obama.
We accept the choice the country made. I've said many times.
I don't accept it. Do you accept the choice? I don't accept the choice. There's a lot of people who are Trumpians who would accept the choice. There are a lot of people who are Bidenites or Harrisites who accepted the choice the last 4 years, but the Trump people didn't accept the choice. You can't, this idea that somebody can get up behind a lectern and give a speech to all of the people in America and presume to speak for every single last person with all these broad brush phrases and words. It's utter nonsense. It's obvious, objective nonsense.
You can't love your country only when you win. You can't love your neighbor.
I posit that you can't love your neighbor if you're handing the reins of power over to somebody you believe is an existential threat to the people you claim to be serving and protecting. Seems like a great disservice, not a colossal service.
Only when you agree. Something I hope we can do, no matter who you voted for, is see each other not as adversaries, but as fellow Americans.
That's such a lie, man. Up to just a couple days ago, he was calling MAGA supporters garbage. This guy who says I see you as a fellow American. No, that's a lie. You see most Americans, like, 71 million Americans, as MAGA garbage. Extra strength, 2-ply MAGA garbage.
Bring down the temperature. I also hope we can lay to rest the question about the integrity of the American electoral system. It is honest, it is fair, and it is transparent.
So he's virtue signaling about the election process, which isn't really an election process. It's a selection process. If you don't got the dough to the White House, you don't go.
And it can be trusted, win or lose. I also hope we can restore the respect for all our election workers who busted their necks and took risks at the outset. We should thank them. Thank them for staffing voting sites, counting the votes, protecting the very integrity of the election. Many of them are volunteers who do it simply out of love for their country. And as they did their duty as citizens, I will do my duty as president. I'll fulfill my oath, and I will honor the Constitution.
Hope that was almost a little glitch right there.
On January 20th.
He's one of the biggest dishonorers of the Constitution, one of the biggest demolishers of the Constitution, specifically Second Amendment rights, Fourth Amendment rights, First Amendment rights.
We'll have a peaceful transfer of power here in America. To all our incredible staff, supporters, cabinet members, all the people who've been hanging out with me for the last 40 years, God love you, as my mother would say. Thank you so much. You put so much into the past 4 years. I know it's a difficult time.
And that's it. So, number one, he has spoken like he hasn't spoken in years and years. That's number one. To the point where people are saying, is this AI generated? What's going on here? And the second thing that I don't see anybody talking about is this idea of democracy and turning over the reins of power to somebody that you already claimed many, many times as an existential threat to the freedoms of every single American. When you have a system where you're going to comply with rules in the face of handing the reins of power over to somebody that you believe is going to destroy America, we got a serious problem where we got a system that is built on lies and evil people, evil, psychopathic political parasites. Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the global thought police in the comment section below. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, share it with everybody you know. Don't forget to subscribe to my email list through my website, highimpactflix.com. If you want to support the channel further, grab a shirt, become a channel member, but more importantly, understand that truth, not lies, truth is the only thing that will set you free. I'll see you in the next video.